From the Joy News Center. This is News at 8.
This is a primetime news here on Joy News on Multi TV. It's a special Judgment Day edition.
The overall effect is that the first respondent was validly elected and the petition is therefore dismissed.
And that was the moment all Ghanaians had been anxiously waiting for. The delivery of the Supreme Court verdict. The president and his team, elated at the outcome, were in high spirits. Petitioners disappointed but fulfilled. Either in Accra and across the country, there was massive jubilation. There was also some sorrow. Fortunately, however, the country is intact and enjoying peace. It's a Sights and Sounds edition of Judgment Day. Stay tuned.
News at 8 with Israel Lai.
It took 8 long months of legal battle during which Ghanaians put their faith in the judiciary. The petitioners made their case, convinced it would stand the test of the justices, even though the respondents disagreed. At the end of the day, the Supreme Court ruled to dismiss the claims brought by the 2012 MPP flag bearer Nana Akufo-Addo and the other petitioners. As Eric Curtis Howard reports, the ruling, which lasted less than 5 minutes, was all it took to reaffirm John Mahama as president.
It was all wrapped up in exactly 4 minutes 11 seconds from when the presiding judge started talking until he concluded.
Upon a scrutiny of the petition, we found that the issues to be determined are set out at page 125 of the Council for Petitioners' written address. They are as follows: 1. Overvoting. 2. Voting without biometric verification. 3. Absence of the signature of the presiding officer. 4. Duplicate serial numbers, that is to say, occurrence of the same serial number on pay sheets for 2 different polling stations. 5. Duplicate polling station codes, that is to say, occurrence of different results of pay sheets for polling stations with the same polling station codes. And 6. Unknown polling stations, that is to say, results recorded for polling stations which are not part of the list of 26,002 polling stations provided by the second respondent for the election. We unanimously dismiss the claims relating to duplicate serial numbers, duplicate polling station codes, and unknown polling stations, for short. Atuguba Adeyira Bafubani Gwedegwe and Akoto Bamfu JJLC dismissed the claim of overvoting. Atuguba Adeyira Bafubani Gwedegwe and Akoto Bamfu JJLC dismissed the claim relating to absence of signature of presiding officer. Atuguba Adeyira Doche Bafubani Gwedegwe and Akoto Bamfu dismissed the claim relating to voting without biometric verification. In the circumstances, the overall effect is that the first respondent was validly elected and the petition is therefore dismissed. Our various judgments, for the sake of convenience, are handed over to the registrar of this court.
Perhaps judgment has come too soon for the many who were expecting more. 2012 NPP flag bearer Nana Akufo-Addo, in his first remarks after the verdict, could not hide his disappointment but remained magnanimous.
I am saddened by the verdict, and I know that many of our supporters are saddened too. However, for the sake and love of our country, we must embark on a path that builds rather than destroys to deal with our disappointment. I appeal to all members and supporters of our party, the NPP, to accept the verdict of the court. Even in our disappointment, we can take pride in the way we have conducted ourselves. Even in our disappointment, we can take pride that the NPP has again led the way in deepening Ghana's democracy.
This is how the judges voted. On the issues of overvoting, the judges dismissed the application by 5-4 votes. Voting without biometric verification, the judges dismissed the application by 6-3 votes. The judges again dismissed the absence of signatures petition on the pink sheets by 5-4 votes. The duplicate of serial numbers and polling station codes application were unanimously dismissed. The respondents may have won at the end of the day, but both parties will surely concede Ghana is the ultimate victor.
Meanwhile, legal spokespersons for both the petitioners and the respondents have described the court ruling as a victory for Ghana.
We are happy about the outcome and we look forward to a united country. I must say that nobody has said thank you to you guys. As you see, there were excesses here and there, but effectively it became quite clear that you have a role to play in this country. And I hope that going forward, you as pressmen will continue to play that role responsibly.
We think that we must take advantage also to thank our friends in the NPP for the coming along in the court to battle this matter. I don't see them as opponents. Our friends on the other side, I always refer to them. I think that they've done well. They fought a good fight, but like sportsmen, they obviously will have to take this defeat, a good spirit. The principle in democracy is that they also set who stand and wait. There will be another election. They can try their chance at the next election.
Nana Akufo-Addo and his fellow petitioners have accepted the Supreme Court's verdict affirming the election of President John Dramani Mahama. Less than an hour after the ruling, he told journalists at his residence he had spoken to President Mahama on phone and congratulated him on his victory.
The NPP says, though they disagree with the Supreme Court's decision to dismiss their petition, they accept the verdict. Nana Akufo-Addo indicated he would not seek a review and stressed the need for both divides to work together in unity to move the country forward.
I've just called President John Dramani Mahama and have now congratulated him on being elected the 4th President of the 4th Republic of our country. Whilst I disagree with the court's decision, I accept it. I accept that what the court says brings finality to the election dispute. We shall not be asking for a review of the verdict so we can all move on in the interest of our nation. I am saddened by the verdict, and I know that many of our supporters are saddened too. However, for the sake and love of our country, we must embark on a path that builds rather than destroys to deal with our disappointment.
He indicated he was taking a break from politics.
I intend to take some time out of the hurly-burly of politics, get some rest, reflect, and then announce whatever decision I come to in the not-too-distant future. We might not have been given the ruling we sought, but thanks to our efforts, we can hopefully look forward to an improved electoral process in our country.
He, however, urged party supporters to follow his lead and respect the verdict of the Supreme Court in good faith.
There was anxiety, then jubilation at the Flagstaff House following the announcement of the verdict. There were others who kept trooping in after the announcement to join in the celebration. Many described it as a moment for the President John Mahama and his Vice Kwesi Amissah-Arthur. Gifty Ando-Appiah in the following report chronicles the before and after verdict mood at the presidency.
The day started with a cancellation of the usual media briefing. The president and his vice took their positions behind a television set from where they were to monitor proceedings. Members of the press corps stationed themselves strategically to cash in on the moment. At about 11:30 a.m., we all gathered at a reception with some monitoring on radio. From the look on their faces, they were set for a prolonged reading of the verdicts by Justice Atuguba, but that did not happen. It was all over in less than 10 minutes. It took a while, though, for the ruling to dawn on them, but it did eventually. The petition questioning his legitimacy as President of Ghana had been dismissed. An excited President Mahama could not hide his joy. Back at his office, Vice President Kwesi Amissah-Arthur spoke a few words. He believed the certainty brought by the verdict was positive for economic progress.
I was no doubt about the outcome of this case. I think that the NPP had a weak case, but they have a very good communication that made a weak case look strong. Taking 8 months of our time, we decided very early on that we'll let the lawyers do their job in court and we'll get on with the act of governance. But you know that even though we wanted to get on that, there are quite a number of people who are uncertain about the outcome of the case, and therefore it was a little difficult. Well, there's some certainty now. We are working for economic stability and for growth because we are saying that the poverty in this country is unnecessary. We have to work to reduce the level of poverty.
Scores of persons in government poured in as they congratulated themselves and the president. Such has been the mood here at the Flagstaff House. Members of the ruling Democratic Congress, the president, his ministers, the vice president, his deputy ministers, all of them have been telling us how excited they are about their victory. They've described it as sweet victory, not taking out the fact that they were sitting on tenterhooks and the fact that it was quite an anxious moment for them, especially with the delay of the judges to the Supreme Court. From the Flagstaff House, Gifty Ando-Appiah for Joy News.
Now, the Progressive People's Party is calling for electoral reforms that will assist the Electoral Commission in its mandate of ensuring fairness and transparency in the electoral process. According to the National Chairman, Ni Alote Brew-Hammond, the party is recommending electoral reforms that will help improve upon the country's already existing electoral process.
Speaking at a press conference just after the Supreme Court verdict, the national chairman of the Progressive People's Party, Ni Alote Brew-Hammond, said the Progressive People's Party lauds the Supreme Court verdict and has confidence in the judicial service as an impartial guardian and backbone of the rule of law that has risen to the occasion to affirm the existence and operation of constitutional rule in Ghana. He, however, added that the PPP reported widespread irregularities and errors in the recording and collation of the 2012 election results, and the party believes that new electoral reforms would help improve the country's electoral processes. The party is therefore recommending to the Electoral Commission processes that would help ensure fairness and transparency in the electoral process.
The PPP recommended that the Electoral Commission should move to deploy a full electronic voting system similar to those found in Brazil, Mexico, etc., with the specific conditions that 1. Votes are transmitted electronically to 2 separate locations. 2. That international observers are allowed full access to the entire process with no closed-door sessions at the polling stations. 3. That 2 internationally recognized audit firms under 50-50 contracts, 50% contracts with local audit firms audit the results independently and cross-check each other's work. 4, that the electronic voting machinery should be designed by a Ghanaian technology firm in partnership with an international major in technology. It should be designed such that rejected ballots shall be 0. Each political party that meets the political party's law criteria to become a political party will be granted a seat on the board of the voting machine company. 5, that we can no longer accept a system where over 250,000 votes are not counted because they are declared spoiled ballot.
The national chairman urged Ghanaians to accept the verdict and have confidence that the Supreme Court exercised its mandates in response to the rule of law. The PPP also used the opportunity to thank Ghanaians for their commitment to peace in the country.
In their bid to ensure law and order ahead, during and after the final verdict, the Ghana Police Service cordoned off a 100-meter radius around the Supreme Court. They also blocked some roads, and today the arrangements ensured sanity in and around the Apex Court.
Roads within the perimeter leading to the Supreme Court were virtually empty but dotted with vehicles and persons. The usually buzzing business district was very quiet, obviously because of the heavy presence of these uniformed men. Personnel who were stationed at various entry points at the courts changed posts frequently. For the police service, the scrutiny of entrance was to ensure no harmful materials were admitted into the inner perimeter of the Apex Court.
We have our routine policing duties that will go on, and depending upon what happens after today, which we hope that the country will be calm. But as policemen, when we plan for the worst scenarios. So we are prepared to continue in this situation, and as the situation unfolds, we shall reveal our strategies which we have in store for whatever situation unfolds.
The police service, which deployed over 30,000 personnel across the country, had promised to maintain their visibility.
We have more news coming up. Don't go away. Now, there has been calm in the Wa municipality of the Upper West region following the Supreme Court affirmation of John Mahama as the legitimate winner of the 2012 elections. Most residents remained indoors for fear of violence after the verdict, but the situation was quite different. However, all that changed after the Supreme Court dismissed the request of the petitioners. Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
The Wa market during the rainy season is never been full because most of the people who patronize it go to farm. However, that is not the case on Thursday, as the market was virtually abandoned due to the election petition verdict. According to the few people in the market, most of their colleagues failed to turn up because they anticipated violence after the verdict. Others felt the beefed-up presence of security personnel patrolling the entire municipality put fear in them. However, all that changed after the Supreme Court dismissed the petitioners' request, and some supporters of the National Democratic Congress, including children, at the Wa Central Constituency office jumped into wild jubilation. Some NDC stalwarts in the Wa Central Constituency, Abdul Rahman Khalid and Alhaji Umar Bongo, spoke to Joy News.
We think that it has taken a chunk of time of let's say, development in Ghana because people were not certain as to what was happening. But in reality, it's a victory for democracy in Ghana. That is what we've been saying all along. And it's a fulfillment of that saying that it's a victory for democracy in Ghana. But the most important thing is that this also give a clue or a signal to the rest of Africa and for that matter the world that Ghana is still striving in democracy in Africa.
a congratulation to Malam Bombang into our party Katawela or Mahon to Boyane Yaku Mahasun of Boyine.
The Upper West Regional Commander of the Ghana Police Service, ACP Kwesi Mensah Duku, stated that although the region is relatively calm, they will not leave anything to chance.
Seeing the citizens have taken the advice that they gave to them, like I said, for the winner, there's a possibility that he will jubilate. And this is exactly what is happening. But it seems their jubilation is, I can say, because of the advice we're giving to them, it has gone down with them. So they know their limit of jubilating. And our other counterparts, I believe they are also taking advice of after giving them by the various institutions. They also cooperating. So I believe on the whole, everything is going to be fine.
Rafiq Salam's report from Wa.
Right, so we've heard from lots of people, we've captured lots of scenes. We'd like you to get onto our Facebook page and sending your comments. Send us something reassuring, something that's going to keep the country a lot more together. So put some thoughts together and send it in, and I'm going to read that in a bit. But Joy News Yajemfi was out in the streets moments after the ruling to capture the mood in town. She reports how the unusually quiet streets of the capital became alive all of a sudden, with jubilation by supporters of the NDC.
Town had been very quiet, with many anxiously waiting for the ruling. Many were glued to their sets, probably for the last time in a case that had spanned 8 months. Judgment was finally pronounced with the affirmation that John Dramani Mahama was duly declared and remains the president of Ghana. For a moment, people were confused, not sure of what the verdict meant.
I didn't understand them, but they are the judges. Whatever they come out with, we have to accept it. So I think we are cool with it. Yeah, okay.
Others came out of their houses just to peep and to get an understanding who had been declared winner. It suddenly then seemed to have dawned on people who now emerged confidently to toot their car horns, dancing and singing to high-pitched music provided by loudspeakers at vantage points in the city. People young and old, including children, poured onto the streets to celebrate. There were others who were not jubilating, but were grateful the town was quiet enough for them to go about their normal lives.
Joy News Business is brought to you in association.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Joy Business with me, Abigail Adumakuenchi. Today we'll be exploring what is happening in the business world, especially as we mark a very historic event. Now, I have with me an analyst to actually go through what is happening on the stock market, especially now that the awaited verdict is in. I have with me David Odoi-Dankwa from Gold Coast Securities to really share with us what is happening on the stock market. You're very welcome, Zay.
Thank you, Abigail.
Yeah. Now, there have been dissenting views on whether or not this verdict would affect the stock market. We would want to know, now that the judgment is out, how has the market fared?
As at close of today, the judgment has not had any impact on the market because, as we told you in our earlier report, the judgment or the election petition at the Supreme Court has actually not had any effect on the market because, contrary to what some section of the analysts were saying, the market has been doing well, performing well, stocks are moving, with the exception of some few weeks back that the market started declining. But today the market closed having 2 decliners and 2 gainers. So in our own view, we will say the market has not been affected by the Supreme Court verdict.
Now let's look at the all-share index. I know that last week it bounced back after the previous week it fell. How is it faring now?
Monday, the all-share index, the composite index of the Ghana Stock Exchange actually had a drop. But Tuesday it just pushed up, and today to Wednesday it also was pushed up. There is a likelihood it might stable today because as a close of trading session today, the all-share index is not out. So
now it appears that the verdict is not affecting the market in any way.
Yes,
so what is happening? What is actually impacting this market? What is the reason for the changes?
What we think is happening is people have really come to see the maturity in Ghana and they've gained trust in the Ghanaian stock market. So no matter what is going on the economy, it doesn't affect it much because we think the investment, the investor confidence is growing on the market, and because of that the market is really doing well, and we are just anticipating that the market is going to boom more after this verdict because today went down without we recording any clashes as some of the people were anticipating. So the confidence level is actually going to increase, and that is going to add up to the returns on the market.
Now, moving forward, how do you think this whole verdict is going to affect the markets now? The judgment is out. Projections?
As I said, the judgment is really, the judgment has come and Ghana has been stabilized. Ghana is stable now. So I think the judgment is really going to reflect in returns, as in the investor confidence, because we believe there are still people out there who wants to invest in the Ghanaian economy, but they were still skeptical about the stability of the Ghanaian economy. But as it stands now, they've now come to know that nothing is going to happen to Ghana. Ghana Stock Exchange is going to continue to return to them. So these people are all going to come into the country with their money, and in no time we are going to see the stock exchange doing better than what we saw in the previous months.
Now, finally, David, before I let you go, how about the currency market?
The currency market today, actually, the market, the Ghana cedi stabilized against all the major trading currencies, though it has been very volatile. But we also don't link it up to the Supreme Court verdict. But what we are saying that the government should rather come out with stringent or strict foreign exchange policies to be able to stabilize it, because adding up, trying to match up the demand of your foreign exchange on your market is not going to solve the problem. But you have to take the long-term decision by bringing out policies that will really reduce the demand of it, but not trying to just match up the demand on the market. So we believe that going forward, the market might just see the currency might stabilize a bit, since the the euro bond proceed is in, and also the 7-year bond as oversubscribed last week by the on the Ghana market. So we see the currency being stabilized a bit.
Now, with all this happening, which sector is going to benefit the most with, the trading activities on the market, the bond in now? Which particular sector is going to benefit?
The bond market is actually also doing well on the Ghana in the Ghanaian economy, but in general, I think all the sectors will benefit, because the investors that are coming in, some will be coming into the financial sector, others will be coming into agriculture, others will also they will be coming to all the sectors in the economy. So I wouldn't limit my prediction to any sector of the economy, but what we are anticipating that the Ghanaian economy is going to boom after this election, since we experience a lot of peace and the country seems very stable.
Okay, thank you very much. David Odoi Dankwa is from the Gold Coast Securities, and he has been telling us what is happening on the stock market. Now we'll be bringing you what exactly happened in the business community as the verdict was given. But for now, I'm Abigail Adumakwenchi. Israel Lai would come by with the rest of the news.
Joy News Business was brought to you in
Time for the very latest in the world of sports. The Ghana Football Association had a successful ordinary congress at the Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence in Pram yesterday. All delegates from the association's body were present to deliberate on issues for the upcoming season. Among some of the key things that the association touched on was a new directive for the Reserve League. President of the Ghana Football Association, Kwesi Nyantakyi, spoke to Joy Sports after the event.
That have attended or presided over, the issues were dealt with very professionally and straight to the point. There was no indulgence in unnecessary talk, and people were very strict in their deliberations. I believe that a lot of people read the papers that were given to them 2 weeks before the Congress. They also did their researches on the issues that we were going to discuss. And so when we came, we had a very smooth deliberation. Financial statements are presented in a certain form. They are not written in essay form for you and I to read and understand. They are presented in a tabular form according to such international accounting standards. And that is exactly what the Ghana Audit Service people did. As you could see from the floor of the Congress, if we came back here next year with a World Cup trophy, that will be the most ecstatic moment in the life of the Football Association. And I believe it will send everybody crazy here. People will be so excited and happy. One, not only because we won the trophy, but also the financial rewards that will be coming to them. They are very, very hopeful that we'll get some money that will alleviate their suffering.
Now, Minister for Youth and Sports Elvis Afriyankra, who was present at the Ordinary Congress, reiterated Governor's readiness to support the GFA in all aspects of the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the government and the Ministry of Youth and Sports, I wish to congratulate and thank all stakeholders in the football fraternity. As you are well aware, the construction of the Cape Coast Sports Stadium has commenced and work is progressing steadily. The ground preparatory works, which involves ground leveling and the layout of the road network, are almost complete. The contractors for the superstructure of the stadium, China Jiangxi Corporation for International Development and Cooperation, are currently on site with some of the construction equipment and materials, and work will soon take off on the facility. The necessary consultations are also underway for the takeoff of the new stadium for Ho as well. And let me also say that apart from the stadium, we are also in discussions when we went to Turkey with some Turkish people to look at a sports, modern sports hospital. The ministry has initiated a program to construct youth and sports arenas in all the districts of the country.
Right now, we'll talk about the Champions League because Manchester City would face holders Bayern Munich in the group phase of the UEFA Champions League, while Arsenal have been drawn alongside last season's runners-up. Of course, Israel joins me right now. Definitely, he's a Chelsea fan.
Right, exactly. Now, whilst the rest of the country was fixated on the election petition ruling, there was the Champions League draw that was happening. Tell me about the permutations.
I'm sure you want to quickly find out where exactly Chelsea was. And I
saw one post by a Man U fan who said they're pretty okay with their pairing.
Manchester can be very okay. We'll get that quickly. But of course, Frank Ribery has been named the UEFA Player of the Year 2012-2013.
Oh, after Messi won it consecutively.
I mean, so that's one of the things. But quickly, let's have on the screen now the draw. And there you have it. You look at it in Group B. You have Real Madrid, Juventus. In Group A, of course, Manchester United, Shakhtar Donetsk, Bayer Leverkusen, Real Sociedad. So Manchester United can feel they are cool with this, but they have to be very careful about Real Sociedad.
They're looking at it, they think they're going to emerge.
Very. They have to be very careful because I think Real Sociedad and Shakhtar Donetsk, those Ukrainian players, are very dangerous. Now in Group B, you have Real Madrid, Juventus, Galatasaray, and Copenhagen. Of course,
I think it looks pretty okay for Real Madrid.
Galatasaray can give a slight of a problem, but I think the Real Madrid and Juventus will be fine. Didier Drogba will be hoping to see what he does in that particular one for Galatasaray, but that's a tough one for them. We can look at Group C now, also quite interesting. We'll quickly pick Group C as it rolls on your screen. So clearly, we'll see how Drogba gets there. Now in Group C, Benfica, Paris Saint-Germain, Olympiacos, Anderlecht. Quite open as well.
Well, it looks quite okay.
It looks quite okay. Everybody has a chance. We'll go into Group D. I'm sure the hearts of the Chelsea fans are really pounding. They really want to know exactly what's it. So Group C, very clear out there on the screen. Now in Group D, Bayern Munich, Manchester City, You have CSK Moscow. You have Plains. Now,
okay, I think it's a tough one. It's a pretty dicey one. Bayern Munich, Manchester City looks quite tough. One of them I'm hoping is going to match. Right, Group E, Chelsea, Schalke,
Basel, and still Bucharest.
Chelsea.
Okay, Chelsea should be going through this one. But again, few issues. Maybe Basel, Schalke has not been in two form, so maybe Chelsea, Basel should be able to go through this one. Now, Group F is an absolutely interesting group. Now look at this:
Arsenal,
Marseille, Borussia Dortmund, Napoli. That's a tough one. Tough one. You cannot really point out who's going. I know Borussia Dortmund have done well. Marseille have. But this is too close to call. Napoli, Arsenal in there. We can look at Group G very quickly. Very interesting pairings now in the Champions League. Group G will be just on your screens as we can look at it. But of course, Borussia Dortmund have a lot to do there. Now in Group G, you have Porto, Atletico Madrid, you have Zenit and Petersburg, and of course you have Austria when easy one again. Porto should be able to get this one.
Atletico Madrid is going to give them some.
Aren't we tired of this already? Look at this group. Barcelona, AC Milan, Celtic again.
Wow.
Now, Ajax. Now, okay, so who are you going for? I mean, Barcelona, AC Milan, Ajax, Celtic?
Barca. Barca. Even though it's going to be a tough one.
Right. I'm not too sure how all of these things are going to pan out, but definitely that will be going to be very, very interesting. I'm not too sure Manchester United can win it. I'm not too sure Chelsea can win it. Let's see what happens. But definitely that will be over sports tonight. My name is George Adijuna Israel. I'll be joining you with some more then.
Certainly.
Sports was brought to you in association with.
All right, business came to a standstill in the capital as most traders decided to stay at home to witness the verdict. A tour around the central business districts saw several shops closed and a few which opened recorded low sales.
The Judgment Day was virtually a holiday for businesses in the capital. Although a Thursday, one could easily mistake it for a weekend. The designated 100 meters radius around the Supreme Court as a no-go area announced by the police administration affected businesses around the highest court of the land. All offices within the area were closed to the public. The dull atmosphere impacted on businesses at the Central Business District of Accra, noted for its bustling activities. Majority of traders abandoned their wares and stalls. The usual busy streets with human and vehicular traffic was free with just a few hawkers making sales out of the few shoppers in town. Some traders and shoppers expressed disappointment at the turn of events in town.
Today is not be declared as holiday, so there's nothing makes me to stay at home. I have to come and do my business, okay? And at the same time, I see the shops are closing. And when people are passing by, in fact, I can see that people are fear that this will bring something, panic or something, fear on them. So most of the shops did not open. But I particularly, I'm not afraid because government has not declared as holiday. So nothing can cause me to stay at home. I have to come and do my business. So I might have something in my pocket, okay?
So how has trading been like for you?
Well, today, people is not in town, so it's moving smoothly, but not too much as ordinary days.
Some bankers were in operation, but patronage was low.
Today I'm very surprised and shocked because I don't think this is something that should just scared people for them not to come to it. I'm very surprised. I work in a Chinese restaurant today. None of the Chinese men even came there to ask for a menu. And I'm very surprised and shocked.
But your shop is opened?
It's very open, but we have no customer at all, not even one. Yes, we will close and go home.
Because nobody is coming?
Because nobody is coming, just wasting our time. So we'll go home and rest.
Profits for businesses might have waned on the Judgment Day, but it appears traders would rather lose for a day than to ignore witnessing this historic landmark.
Now, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Pakwesi Emisaratha, has cautioned NDC supporters to celebrate in moderation in order to maintain the peace and also save lives after the verdict at the party headquarters in Accra. The Vice President met with the national executives of the party to congratulate them and thank them on behalf of the President. Now, MPP supporters, on the other hand, who followed the Supreme Court proceedings at the party headquarters were left very disappointed Thursday afternoon. The disgruntled party members did not mince words as they lamented their defeat. Joy News' Adelaide Arthur was there and captured the moment.
Immediately, Justice Atuguba stated the petitioner's case had been dismissed. Party members who had gathered in front of a flat-screen TV began murmuring. Some members could not hold back tears, whilst others lamented. Moments before, however, the faithful party members sought the face of God, offering prayers and songs of praise. They were confident God will intervene and give them victory. But the victory did not come, and a few decided to take it out on our cameras.
Now, Vice President Kwesi Emi-Sarata, in earlier interviews with the media, suggested that he would have wished that it was a 9-0 or unanimous ruling. And he also suggested that probably the MPP shouldn't have gone to court. But lawyer Okujoto disagrees with him.
It is unfortunate that he should make a statement like that. He should not. Because these are the very things that we are trying to prevent and say that it provokes people. Now, many of us have watched the proceedings, even though we were not a party to much of what had transpired. It's obvious that many things went wrong in the electoral process. And so for anyone to say that the people should not have gone to court, he's being ingenious. And it should not come from a person like him.
Now, ensuring that there was absolute peace within and around the Supreme Court as the election petition verdict was read, security was not only about the presence of officers at strategic places, but it also showed in their dressing as they outdoored their latest security gear. It was obvious it was Judgment Day couture.
God bless homeland.
In anticipation of anything untoward during the reading of the election petition verdict, everyone in Ghana did anything to ensure continued peace, with our security forces spearheading with appropriate measures in place. On the day, stakeholders of the petition arrived at the court premises prepared for the outcome. Well, at least by their dressing you could guess. Most were in simple attires, with a few of them in symbolic colors or keeping up with fashion. The most fashionable for the day, I guess, will go to the Ghana National Police, as they leave a no stone unturned, dressed accordingly. In fact, they looked so prepared for anything untoward, but so interesting in their latest security attire, what I have termed Judgment Day couture. Don't be surprised if, just like the camouflage, this also becomes the fashion in the few days or months or years. Who knows?
All right, and that's it for Showbiz, and that's it for the Judgment Day, special Judgment Day edition of the Primetime News here on Joy News. But before I go, I'm going to leave you with some of the comments that we've gotten you to post onto our Facebook, where we asked you, we have crossed that bridge. The verdict didn't favor everyone, as we all know. Moving forward, share a few words to help bring us together as a people as we go from here. So Pepsi says, peace, proud to be a Ghanaian. Court rise, and he sends that from Keta. We thank God for holding his beloved country, Ghana, together even after the verdict. God bless, really bless our homeland, Ghana. And there is nothing, Richie says, there is nothing like a second Ghana, so let's try to keep what we have. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Long live Ghana. Simon says, the victory of peace has been attained. Let's maintain the peace. This victory is for all Ghanaians and not a particular political party. We have walked and trod a long path of peace. And Mackenzie Wilfred says, in fact, this... Okay, I skipped that. Sylvia says, I'm happy that at the end of the day, no individual has claimed to have won. All they say is Ghana has won. And the politicians themselves eat together. So who are you to fight? We love Ghana, so nothing should cause us to fight, but rather strengthen us as Mother Ghana forever. And those are some of the comments that you've sent to our Facebook wall. A lot more are going to be posted. I'd encourage you to get onto our Facebook wall and get to read some of those comments. That's it for the bulletin. My name is Israel Lion. Happy Judgment Day to you.